Hello YouTube and vinyl community, I'm Jeff Paris and welcome to the Vinyl Record Info channel. Now, before we get started, I do want to shout out. I was on Concert Buddy's podcast last night. His show is fantastic. I met him at Noble Records during the 5th anniversary sale. Couldn't be a nicer guy, and we got to talking and he invited me onto the show, and I gotta tell you, it was a blast. I had a ton of fun. We got to talk about some cool records. Got to show some cool stuff. We talked about greatest debut albums and first songs on the debut albums, which was awesome. A lot of people showed a lot of really cool records. I learned a lot too. There were some records I had never seen before. We talked about butt rock, which is, typically when you think of butt rock, you think kind of like the 90s, Nickelback, Buckcherry, Creed, stuff like that. You guys know, if you watch this channel, that I'm into late 60s, 70s, a little bit of 80s hard rock, so I don't have any of that stuff. So I brought it to, we're calling it proto butt rock, but kind of like the beginnings of it, so your Bad Companies and things like that. But yeah, go check it out. I'll leave a link in the description of this video so you can just easily click on it and take a peek. I'm telling you, it was a blast. It was a good time. So if you're subscribed here, make sure you subscribe to Concert Buddy so you can get those. They put on a show at least weekly. Every other week is the one I was on, and there's a B-side that's on the off week. So check out both of those. Ton of fun. Hopefully they'll invite me back in the future and you guys will see me on there again, but I had a blast. Okay, so for today's video, now you've already gone and you watched my starting your record collection for a beginner video, so you knocked that one out hopefully. All right, now we're going if you're a novice intermediate collector, right? So you've got your basics, you're feeling good about your collection, you got a lot of your base records taken care of, you're playing them, you're listening to them, right? You feel pretty good about some of the more common records that you have, and you're looking to maybe explore out a little bit more in the world of rock. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. So if you're an intermediate collector, a novice collector, and you're trying to figure out, what's next, what music haven't I heard, go out on YouTube, watch all the VC guys. There's tons of videos out where they're just showing records of stuff that you may not have heard of. So that's a big piece of the research. Number two, my recommendation would be if you find a label that you like. So, I'll show some labels here in a second, but there's some labels that I know that basically I like everything on the label, right? So you just go down that rabbit hole. Go ahead and just start looking at every record, every band, every album that came out on that label, and just, stream it, see if you like it first, and then go out hunting. I found a ton of new music that way, where I like one record, I found it, and I'll just give an example, like international artist, right? A lot of Texas Psych came out on international artist. You hear about 34 Elevators, you listen to it, then you're like, what else is on this international artist label? Then you go down the rabbit hole and just research everything on that label, and all of it's good. You could do that with everything. I mean, Kama Sutra, there's a million different record labels out there. Go out there and take a look. Vertigo, everything's great on that. Well, mostly everything's great on that. Polydor, things like that. So that's my other recommendation. So I'm going to show you some records here that I think some of them you might not have heard of. Some of them are, if you have a lot of records from that band, maybe you didn't think about this one. So we'll just go through real quick. So if you have not been following Dylan from Noble Records, obviously, if you're following this channel, go follow him. Go subscribe to his channel. But he came across a record collection from the Voice of America record collection from the radio station. And So basically, this guy in DC, it seems like he bought the Voice of America radio station's record collection at auction, and then he was really into jazz, so he kept all like the, big name jazz stuff, the Blue Notes, Prestige, things like that. And then, Dylan came in and helped him parse through everything, and then bought a strong majority of the collection. So Voice of America was an incredibly important radio station. Basically, they were responsible for putting out popular music to the entire world that came from America, or that was playing in America. So, a lot of countries who didn't have access to a lot of great rock and roll only got it through the Voice of America radio station, because that's all they can get, right? And all these records came from that collection, from that radio station. So, this is a piece of history for sure. And if you're not local to his record store in North Carolina, he is selling portions of huge portions of the collection on Whatnot. So go on to Whatnot, follow Dylan from Old Records, and buy a record and get a piece of history, because this thing, it's the whole. Wikipedia, the whole story is incredible. Voice of America did some great stuff, and just the fact that we get to get our hands on some of that collection is pretty cool. So, and you guys know that I'm a sucker for promos, and in my mind, every record that comes from Voice America collection is going to be a promo record, because it went to a radio station, and the first time that somebody may have heard these records was off this very copy. So I think it's pretty cool. So anyways, this is Rare Bird. Great rock. A little bit obscure. This does not break the bank at all. If you're an intermediate collector and you're just looking for, getting out there, venturing a little bit more in the world of rock and roll, Rare Bird is great, and these are very attainable. Like I said, will not break the bank. There is a UK version of this that's much rarer, and it's actually a different cover. It's like a lot more vibrant rainbow bird type thing. But this is an original US press. This is on Probe. It's absolutely fantastic. And like I said, Probe is a subsidiary of ABC, but things on Probe are fantastic. There's so much good stuff. Like I have a record on my want list that's from Probe. I've had on my want list forever, called Morgan. Go check that out. That's incredible stuff. And so Probe has a lot of great stuff. So you definitely need to go down the rabbit hole of Probe. And like I said, it's a subsidiary of ABC, so a lot of it's attainable. Some of it is incredibly rare, like Morgan, but a lot of it's very attainable. So check that out; it's a good one. If you're beginning your collection, you probably have some CCR. If you don't, you definitely should. However, for whatever reason, this is probably one of their rarer ones, and it's their debut album, right? Korean's Clearwater Revival, self-titled. It is harder and harder every day to find an original press of one of these. I think I mentioned this before, but it has a little sticker on here that says Susie Q. That's probably a later pressing. Early probably, but still a later pressing. So the original presses didn't have that on here. But this is absolutely fantastic. I Put a Spell on You, Susie Q. This one's a great one that a lot of people overlook for CCR, because a lot of the other ones are just a lot more popular, Cosmos Factory, Mardi Gras, things like that. A lot of big songs came off that one, but that one too. There's another one from the Voice of America collection. This is Cactus. Now, I brought up Cactus before. This was a big one for me. I was pretty pumped to get this one because I wanted to have a promo copy of every Cactus record, and this rounds out the collection for me, so I was pretty pumped to get this one. This is kind of one of their more obscure one, a little bit harder to find. Cactus is not terribly difficult to get your hands on. You can find Cactus. Their debut album, the self-titled one, definitely my favorite one by far. Go check out Cactus if you haven't. But, again, if you're an intermediate, record collector, this is going to be right up your alley. If you're looking to explore a little bit deeper into Cactus or a little bit more into that early 70s hard rock sound, Restrictions is a great one. It's really, really cool. Okay, a little bit further out there is going to be Yes. So this is actually, they're self-titled. And so a lot of people, if you're just beginning your collection, you may snag a copy of the Yes album, right? I think it has like Slow Ride, a bunch of other very famous songs on here. But this is their debut or this is their self-titled album. Also fantastic. I really like this a lot. This is from a little earlier, I think 68 or something like that. But absolutely fantastic if you are getting your feet into prog and you've got some decent prog record, the bass prog records going, dive a little bit deeper into Yes, because you're only going to like it more and more. Again, going back to that early 70s hard rock, this is Sir Lord Baltimore. Absolutely fantastic early 70s hard rock sound. You're going to get the crazy guitar, you're going to get the great vocals. I don't know why this isn't more popular, why more people don't talk about Sir Lord Baltimore. It is fantastic. If you're into what I'm into, that early 70s rock, you're gonna love this. So go check it out, Sir Lord Baltimore. These are just maybe a little bit on the upper scale price wise for a novice collector. We're not talking crazy. You can get this for, you can get a nice copy probably for like $50. But, it just kind of depends on what kind of deals you find. But you're going to like this one. This is definitely worth it for sure. It is absolutely fantastic record. Okay, so Procol Harum. This is self-titled. This is one that has Whiter Shades of Pale on it, which is a song on here that you've probably heard. Robin Trower is the guitarist on here, who is absolutely fantastic. I saw him at the Chicago Blues Theater. If you like good guitar work, a tinge of psych, Procol Harum is fantastic. Definitely check it out. It's on that Durham label. Again, this is another label that I highly recommend you kind of dig into a little bit more. There's a lot of great stuff on Durham, and this is one of them. And Whiter Shade of Pale. I mean, that is such a good song. Okay, this is King Harvest, Dancing in the Moonlight. This one is, every day I feel like it's getting harder and harder to find. You don't find them out in record stores a whole lot, I would say. This is right up the intermediate collector's alley. This is you're digging into a little bit more on the southern rock side. You got your Leonard Skinnards, you got your Molly Hatchets. You're feeling good about all that stuff, and then you want to dig in a little bit deeper. King Harvest, Dancing in the Moonlight. Absolutely fantastic. This is on that Perception label. Again, another record label worth checking out. Perception, and this is smooth. This is nice and smooth. This is a great record to put on and chill to. I like it a lot. So getting a little more space rock, right? You got your Hawkwind here, a lot of synthesizer, a lot of you feel like you're in outer space, right? That's why they call it space rock. Some of the more popular ones, Hall and Mountain Grill, things like that. This is Warrior on the Edge of Time. Very, very common records, a little bit more obscure even within the Hawkwind catalog. Another good one though. Very attainable. You can go out and you could find this pretty easily. Another fantastic one though. If you feel good about the early 70s hard rock and you want to get into a little bit, branch out. You're getting into psych, you're getting into prog, you're getting into other stuff, space rock is going to be a good avenue for you because there's a lot of great music within space rock. So check this one out. So this is Green Bullfrog, another great early 70s hard rock. Just not a lot of people talk about this one, that's all. It's just, if you like hard rock, you like the early 70s sound, again, another banger that not a lot of people talk about. This is on the U.S. version of the Decca label, right? But obviously the UK Decca's, a lot of the stuff on there is absolutely fantastic. A lot of the huge major bands from the UK came on that Decca label. This is the American one, but this is a little bit tougher to find clean. These are not expensive. These are not hard, but with the black cover, they usually get crushed with ring wear. But this one is, very clean. They've got a little bit of writing right here, but other than that, this thing is beautiful. So go check this one out. Another good one. great novice collector record. Talked about this record before, but Freedom Through the Years. Again, absolutely fantastic. This is a white label promo, as a mono copy, but and they also have, I think this also came out as a UK vertigo as well. This is a US press on that Cotillion, another great US label. A lot of good records on that, and again, this record should be $75. It sounds that good, and it's not. It's very, very affordable. You can find them pretty regularly. A great rock and roll band, though. I love that. Get a little bit more to the hard rock, bordering on metal, but this is Dust, Heart Attack, another great one. That Dust self-titled is also a fantastic one. I just didn't pull it out, but it's on that Kama Sutra label, sorry. A lot of fantastic stuff on that Kama Sutra label. Some of it's hard to find, some of it's not. This is a more reasonable one. The Dust self-titled is, I think, slightly more expensive probably. Again, nothing crazy though. I mean, if you consider yourself a novice record collector and you're really digging the hobby and everything, it's not going to be, you've probably seen a lot more records that are more expensive than this or the other one. So the sticker price won't shock you, but I think it's just a little more expensive than this one. But both of those records are great. Highly recommend checking out Dust. Yeah, the Dust self-titled is just like a skeleton, like a skull in the front. It's good though. All right, David Bowie. So you have your Ziggy Stardust. You're listening to it nonstop like I do. You love it so much. Dig in a little bit more of the David Bowie catalog, because you're going to see his influence on so many other records that you listen to throughout your collecting career, that, the more you listen to him, you're more like, man, this guy was so influential. But this is Hunky Dory. This is original U.S. press in the shrink with the hype sticker. This is an absolutely beautiful copy. Very pumped to have this one. But Life on Mars is kind of like the big track on this one. It is so good. Highly recommend checking this one out. And again, this one is not crazy. This is in the same ballpark as Ziggy Stardust. So, price wise, and it's just as easy to find as Ziggy Stardust typically. Some David Bowie records, that's an advanced level collecting. Some of his early stuff especially. But, this and Ziggy Stardust are pretty much on par with each other. So if you have Ziggy Stardust and you don't have this one, please check it out. It's absolutely fantastic. It's another one in the same vein, Station to Station. Again, I consider these three kind of on the same plane as, affordability and how hard it is to find them. Another absolutely fantastic one. This has Golden Years on it, which a track I love. Growing up, I loved the movie A Knight's Tale, and I just remember the dance scene with Heath Ledger and Shannon Sossman, and the medieval band is playing Golden Years, which is hilarious, but absolutely fantastic. Highly recommend checking that one out too. Maybe you got your first 4 Black Sabbath records. You got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Was Black Sabbath, Master of Puppets, Paranoid, and Volume 4. Dig in a little bit further, deeper into the Black Sabbath catalog, and the first one I think I would highly recommend is Heaven and Hell by Black Sabbath. This one's absolutely fantastic. This is the Dio is on this one now, singing, and he is Ozzy's great, obviously, and he had a fantastic solo career. These are great too. The records without them. Heaven and Hell is absolutely fantastic. This one's, again, original press in the shrink. This is just a beautiful copy with the original price sticker on it. This says $6.99. These are not $6.99 anymore. But again, they're not going to break the bank either. You can find a really nice copy for a very reasonable price. This is right up the alley of a novice collector. If you feel good about your Black Sabbath collection, you like Black Sabbath, you got the first 4, you like them, dig in a little bit further, this should be your first stop, I think, or one of your first stops. I've definitely talked about this record before, but I just love recommending it. This is Armageddon. Absolutely fantastic early 70s hard rock. A white label promo. You're going to love this one too. Great guitar, great vocals. And then The Animals. This record is so good. So this has House of the Rising Sun on it. You should get the other Animals record too, because it has She's Not There on it. Another absolutely fantastic song. I love the vocals on this. This is from like 66 or something like that, like pretty early. Very early, really. Maybe even 65, 64, I don't know. But the sound on it, though, I just feel like he could be singing today. When you listen to the House of the Rising Sun, go YouTube a video of, him singing it. It's fantastic. I mean, it's like hauntingly beautiful. It sounds like he could be singing it today. It sounds very modern for some reason, even though it was from the early 60s. They dress like they're from the early 60s, and he just does not sound like he looks, for sure. It's so good. Highly recommend getting into The Animals if you haven't yet. This one and the other album with She's Not There. If you haven't heard She's Not There, go. It's on Spotify, streaming everywhere. It's a famous song. Listen to that one. Again, it's kind of just like a hauntingly beautiful sound, and it's very good, though. Very catchy. Okay, so that's going to do it. If you consider yourself a novice record collector, hang in there. There's going to be highs and lows for sure. Every record collector goes through it. There are times where I'm like, what am I doing? Like, this is crazy. Like, I'm getting kind of burnt out on it. And then you find a record, or you listen to something new or something like that, and then your interest goes back up. It's a roller coaster ride for sure. So don't go too hot and heavy at any one time. Parse it out, stay cool. I love this hobby so much, and I hope you guys do too. And the vinyl community is a great one. So, and that's another thing too. If you consider yourself a novice record collector, kind of intermediate, start getting yourself involved into the vinyl community a little bit more. Because now you have a little bit more knowledge about vinyl. Maybe you have something to say, and that people aren't thinking about. So, I myself, I've been collecting since like 2004, and I really just kind of within the last few months I started this channel and getting into the vinyl community in a more substantial way, I guess. Communicating with people on whatnot, and getting to know Dylan and Chance, and got to speak with Mike at the In Groove and things like that. So. And then, all these guys that I'm mentioning, they're nothing but helpful and cool. I mean, some of the nicest people I've met have been in the vinyl community. So, just like with everything, though, there's going to be some jerks. There's going to be some guys that you just don't like. But that's right. I mean, that's, every hobby you're going to get into. If you really get into it, you're going to find those people. Just ignore those people and, like the ones you like. So, don't let that discourage you from getting involved in the vinyl community at all. Okay, so that'll do it. Eventually I will do what I consider maybe an advanced level collector. Not that I even consider myself an advanced level collector, but I will talk about that in a future video, so stay tuned for that one. Again, go check out Concert Buddy. Go check out the show that I was just on last night. I really appreciate your guys' support. If you have not already, please go ahead and subscribe. That will be very helpful. I'm trying to grow the channel more and more every day, and you guys have been doing great. But if you're watching this, just go ahead and click that subscribe and hit that thumbs up, and I really appreciate it. I'll catch you guys in the next video. See ya.